So last night, my dear friend Mark and I went a wee run to Glasgow Green. Tomorrow we're running the Edinburgh Marathon and I'm raising funds for Refugee. And for an extra challenge, I've decided to go bevy free for 6 months. So what better place to reflect on all that than here at Collins Temperance Fountain at the entrance to Glasgow Green? In the 19th century, the Western world was finding itself in the grip of alcohol, in Glasgow just as much as anywhere else. Folk were moving here, or were forced to come here, to look for industrialised labour, swelling Glasgow until it was one of the biggest and densest cities in Europe. Glasgow was booming, and folk had easy access to beer and whiskey, and that brought a level of routine drunkenness that might remind you of Glasgow on a sunny day today. With roots in Presbyterianism, the temperance movement aimed to tackle that social disorder by advocating for a more careful approach to alcohol, especially spirits. And eventually, they argued for full abstinence. They built these fountains across the UK, but especially in the USA, to make it easier to avoid drinking alcohol by providing access to clean drinking water. This one was built in 1881, before delicious Scottish tap water was readily available in Glasgow. This one was dedicated to Sir William Collins. His dad was another William Collins, of Collins Publishers fame. But Bill Jr. grew up and earned the nickname Water Willie because he was the first teetotaler to hold the office of Lord Provost. After his run as Provost, the fountain was commissioned as a tribute from his friends in the temperance movement, and it was unveiled in front of a crowd of around 50,000 people, largely delegates from other temperance organisations. Like many of these fountains, it features the goddess Temperantia or Sophrosyne with her big jug of water. The ideal that Sophrosyne embodies is to live with moderation, self-control and decorum. And although it's a shame that most female statues show goddesses or personified ideas, I find a downcast pose fitting, as it's the women of Glasgow that have always paid the highest price for the city's relationship with alcohol. It's such a nice example of Victorian civic pride. Look at the difference between this and the kind of stuff we stick up these days. Anyway, it decided to rain for the first time in 100 years, so you can't see it here, but by the fountain is a plaque titled The Demon Drink, with a quote which I believe is from Collins himself. It struck its fibrous roots into everything so deeply that to tear up the spirit drinking practices is like tearing up the whole social system of society. And although little has changed in that regard, it's now nearly 150 years later, and I still can't legally have a can in Glasgow Green on a sunny day. Coming after the bevy has been good for me physically, but I'm not so sure mentally, and I miss the lubricated conversation that comes with a few pints. I miss the feeling of that first pint on a Friday after a stressful week. I miss cutting about the south side feeling tipsy. So while I don't think abstinence is right for me, I hope I've at least learned a bit of temperance. By the way, if you'd like to donate to my fundraiser for the run tomorrow, the link is in the bio. I can't wait for my first pint in 6 months after it. Catchies.